Black Americans, Black Americans, Black Americans. One thing I've realized right now is immigrants now coming to their senses. Immigrants now understanding that the only person that can help them are Black Americans, especially Black immigrants, African immigrants, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, name them, right? And I'm not going to say that this is actually not a good start. This is actually a good side. But as an African person that so much love my Black American people, I'm still going to be saying this to you guys. If you're eating with anybody that is not foundational Black American, eat with a long spoon. In fact, if possible, eat with a fork, a very long fork. Do you get why? Right? Now, the reason why I'm saying this is I so much really appreciate what these people are saying, and I want you guys to actually watch what these people are literally saying, right? All these African immigrants, especially, are literally saying about Black Americans. And I brought part one of this particular video, and I saw that you guys really, really love it. And I just find out that recently a lot of people are now unfolding what is inside of them. You know, they came to the US, idolized white people, thinking that white people are going to be the one to save them, are going to be their savior, are going to be their helper. But they are now realizing that every single person that they've met as a white person has messed up with their mental health in one way or the other. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And with that being said, let's watch this particular video and I'll be back with commentaries. And just to be honest with me, with your comments, okay? Let's watch, guys.
Like I've mentioned so many times before, when I lived in America, Black Americans were by far my favorite people. And I am so grateful to God Almighty for them because they helped me heal and reconcile a deeper part of my being. So today I'm going to be showing you guys a visual as to why Black Americans were by far my favorite people when I lived in America. Stay tuned. Imagine a couple, mom and dad, and they had 3 sets of children. The first set are twins. The second set, also twins. And the third set, triplets. The first set of twins represent children born to mom and dad that have desirable qualities. The second set of twins born to mom and dad are children that have meh qualities. These are qualities that are not so great, they're not so bad, they're just manageable. And the last set of children, the triplets born to mom and dad, are children who have undesirable qualities. Now, mom and dad in this context represents Uncle Sam. The first set of twins, these are citizens with desirable qualities as noted by Uncle Sam. These are white people. The first twin in this category, aka white people, are the white people who benefit so heavily from Uncle Sam pedestalizing them. They are the biggest beneficiary of white supremacy. They are also the biggest beneficiary of white privilege or Western privilege. And they also wish to someday grow up to be just like mommy and daddy, aka Uncle Sam. The second group of white people, these are white people who understand that Uncle Sam pedestalizes them and they have the opportunity to also benefit from white supremacy, white privilege, and Western privilege. However, they also see that mom and dad are narcissistic as shit, meaning that mommy and daddy doesn't really care about them. It's all about image to mommy and daddy. They just want to look good to the outsiders. So they rebel in their own way, while still appreciating the fact that they are beneficiaries of a system that was not created by them. And the way these guys oftentimes rebel is by not dancing to the tune of capitalism. And a lot of times these people have careers in humanitarian fields or social work, which usually is geared towards helping their siblings. So let's call these guys white people 1 and white people 2. The second set of twins, these are the non-black people of color who benefit from their proximity to whiteness, aka the Latinos and the Asians, even the biracial people, Chad. These are the non-black people of color who naturally benefit from their proximity to whiteness without even trying, just simply because of the way they look. And these are the non-black people of color who do so much to try to be white so that mommy and daddy can like them even more. And mommy and daddy rewards them with crumbs by calling them model minority, and their pussies get wet. These ones really don't give a shit. They're just born into it. It is what it is. Let's call these guys non-black people of color 1. And these guys non-black people of color 2. Now, the final but not the least, you guessed it. These are black people. These represent black people who recognize that mommy and daddy are not checking for them. So they say, fuck you too, bitch. Shit, you're not checking for me anyway, so fuck you too. So as a result of not getting love and support from mommy and daddy, their potential lag And they sit with their pain and perpetuate their pain to suffering. And this is what outsiders see and judge them for it, without realizing that they are in pain. These are mostly black Americans and a few Caribbeans and Africans that people deem as nuisance. These are the black people that recognize that mommy and daddy are definitely not checking for them. However, they think that if they pray hard enough and kiss enough ass and dance so desperately to the rhythm of capitalism and prove so hard to mommy and daddy that they're not like these other ghetto ass black people, maybe, just maybe, mommy and daddy could give them crumbs just like these people. Or maybe in their dreams they'll be upgraded to these people. Sure. Most people who fall in this category are Africans and a few black Americans and Caribbeans, but mostly Africans. Now, I clocked out from this bullshit because I'm way too lazy to kiss ass, cause no bitch. So when I clocked out, these guys seemed familiar. I was in pain, I was burning, I was hot. I had a whole lot of privileged ass motherfuckers talk shit about my pain, simply because they did not understand what it meant to be the reject. But I felt safe with these people because they understood my pain. It was similar to theirs. And they provided me with a safe space because we understood each other's frequency. They were my home away from home, but I was still in pain. Then eventually, after I cooled the fuck down, I eventually realized that there's a third group of black people who are persevering, showing a great deal of resilience, and making a name for themselves in spite of whatever the fuck mommy and daddy has to say. They were doing it in their own way, in simplicity and humility, without love, without support. And sometimes the only love and support that we're getting was coming from white people, number two, the ones who are utilizing their privilege to help out their siblings, knowing damn well that it would cost them a great deal of privilege because mommy and daddy would not approve. Yet they still did it anyway, because fuck it. And because I lived in America, most people in this category were black Americans. A few Africans and Caribbeans here and there, but not enough. So, black Americans were the first group of black people that I observed unplug from fuck shit, just like I did. Black Americans were also the first group of black people that I saw leaning into their pain in spite of what the majority or the word had to say, because fuck it. Black Americans were also the first group of black people who humanized me while I was in pain. And black Americans were the first group of black people that I saw utilize their pain and pave way for themselves, by themselves, in spite of the heavy ridicule from the outside world. And on top of that, I, an African-born man, I am also a beneficiary of the black American privilege because of their ancestors' sacrifice. And for that, I am grateful. And I know, I am very, very aware that this is something that a lot of people do not understand because a lot of people don't know what it feels like to be the bottom of the barrel, to be the reject, and having to navigate through that without kissing ass. Because somehow, somewhere inside of your soul, you might not be aware of it, but you recognize yourself and you believe in yourself. You might not necessarily be aware of it, but there's something deep inside your soul that says to not conform to bullshit. Because you are enough in body, mind, and spirit. Show me how you have been able to navigate through a similar experience. Until then, respect.
Imagine playing a game where the rules are rigged against you from the start. Every time you take a step forward, the game changes and the goalposts are moved further away. This is the reality that African Americans have faced here in America. A never-ending struggle where for centuries the odds have been stacked against them. I have to admit, when I first moved here to America, I used to hear harmful rhetoric from my African friends, my relatives. Oh, Akata people are lazy. Akata this, Akata that. What I didn't understand is that African Americans have been playing a rigged game their entire existence here in the United States. Underfunded schools, liquor stores, drugs rampant around every block in their neighborhoods, redlining and rezoning, taking away healthy grocery stores, replacing them with fast food chains, having to be overqualified just to apply to entry-level jobs and menial jobs. African Americans have built, fought, bled for this country despite the system being rigged against them. They were not given a fair start. They were not given a fair shot. Yet they still managed to endure and persevere. It's time we stop letting stereotypes and harmful rhetoric break us down. Together, we can rewrite the rules. Our strength lies in unity. Together, we can win this game. We can create a game where we all win. Are you ready to play the game?
Ignorance is bliss. Like, I didn't know what racism really meant. And so I ignored some of the cues. I ignored some some things, like they didn't get to me. But now that I can see it in microaggression, I see it in, oh, you are black. You can do so well so long as you don't do better than me. You know, in those little things that give off racist vibe in people who are supposedly Democrats. And I'm like, huh. So black people, how have you been dealing with this? Because now I cannot ignore. Now that I can see it, I cannot ignore. How have you been dealing with this? And please don't tell me to go back to my country, because I ain't going nowhere. We are in this together. Help a sister out. How have you guys been dealing with the microaggression? Yeah. From supposedly non-racist people. Tell me.
I'm from Sierra Leone. I came to America as an immigrant, and I need to tell you something most Africans won't admit. We arrive in this country looking down on African Americans. And we have no right to, no history, no context, no right. When I went back to Sierra Leone in my early teens, we were reading Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, Shakespeare in school. You know who we never read? W.E.B. Du Bois. James Baldwin, Toni Morrison. Not one, not ever, not once. That is not an accident. That's colonial education designed to disconnect us from our history, from our struggle, from each other. Before Africans come to America, we know nothing about African Americans except music videos and movies. We see the poverty, we see the violence, we see the performance, but we do not see the policy. We don't see the history. We don't see the 400 years of theft. We don't know that every single right we have as African immigrants, every protection, every opportunity, every door that opens exists because African Americans bled for it. The Civil Rights Act, the voting rights, fair housing, that wasn't given, that was taken. They faced police dogs, fire hoses, bombs in churches. They were lynched for organizing, assassinated for speaking. And we benefit from it the second we step off the plane, but we don't learn that. We're never taught that. We arrive ignorant and call it pride. So we come to America carrying white supremacist thought, and we don't even know it. We look at African Americans and think, why can't they just work hard like us? Why are they so angry? Why don't they pull themselves up? We repeat that. We believe it. We become it. We judge without remembering they're descendants of people, of us, who were enslaved for 400 years, then denied everything after emancipation. We don't know about redlining. We don't know about sharecropping, convict leasing, the destruction of Black Wall Street. We don't know about COINTELPRO. We don't know the government-orchestrated crack epidemic. We don't know wealth compounds, and African Americans were systematically prevented from building any. We judge them for the effects. We ignore the cause. We repeat the lie. White supremacy is brilliant. It separated us before we ever met. It taught Africans we're better, more dignified, more hardworking, more pure. It taught us to see African Americans as lazy, criminal, inferior. Meanwhile, it taught African Americans that Africans sold them, which is true but incomplete because it erases European demand, European ships, European guns, European economic system that created the trade. The system wins when we're divided, when we say, I'm not like them. We're doing white supremacy's work, people, for free, with pride, with ignorance, wrapped in respectability. African Americans built this country with their hands, with their blood, with their bodies turned into capital. Then they were freed into a system designed to re-enslave them. Then they organized, then they fought, then they died, and then they won the rights the whole world benefits from. The anti-colonial movements in Africa were inspired by the Black Power movement. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X influenced liberation struggles globally. African Americans gave us language, strategy, and vision to fight oppression everywhere. And we repay them with judgment. We repay them with distance. We repay them by repeating white supremacist talking points. We have to address this ignorance. We have to stop it. We have to end it. We're not better. We're not smarter. We're not more deserving. We're just luckier to avoid the specific machinery of American anti-blackness. But make no mistake, to white supremacy, we're all the same. The moment we stop being useful, we're just another target. We need to learn African American history. We need to read their thinkers, their revolutionaries. We need to read their poets, understand their struggle, not as separate from ours, but as the foundation beneath our feet. If you're African, immigrant, Caribbean, anyone who came here and benefited from African American blood, you owe them your respect. You owe them your solidarity. You owe them the humility to learn before you judge. Stop peddling white supremacist thought. Stop distancing yourself to feel safe. Stop letting the system use you as a wedge against the people who built the road you're walking on. We're all black in America, all of us, every single one. The sooner we stand together, not in competition, not in judgment, but in recognition, the sooner we can all be free. The ignorance has to end. It starts with us. It starts with admitting we carried it here, over the Atlantic. It starts with putting it.
As an African living in the United States, I used to share the same sentiment that Africans share about African Americans because I had a hard time when I first moved here. People used to always tell me, you're not black enough, you're an Oreo, you're secretly white on the inside, as if I wasn't literally from Africa. But I now understand after living here for 8 years that black in the United States is a very specific criteria and anything outside of that just doesn't fit. But I want to help African Americans understand that Africans coming to the United States are immigrants, first and foremost. Then they are Nigerian or Senegalese or whatever country they're from. And then at some point, they are black. But Africans don't put black high up on their identity well as much as African Americans do. And that is for legitimate reasons on both ends. And so when an African is coming to the United States, they're thinking to themselves, okay, I'm an immigrant here. I have to do my best for myself and my family back home. The sacrifices that took for me to get here were no light work, okay? So I need to really align myself with what's going to make me successful in this country. And because it's the United States, it's the dominant culture, which is white American culture. And so Africans are going to instinctively ally themselves with the culture that's going to give them the most success. I mean, African Americans even admit that they have to code switch to be successful here because that's what brings success. And so Africans are like, all right, we'll do that. And it also doesn't help that for a long time, Africans are fed a very negative view of Black American culture, and that's its own propaganda. But because Africans are so conservative and they're coming to a country where Black Americans have been labeled as the antithesis to this conservative traditional family values, they have, if anything, more in common with Southern Baptist white racist people. But that aside, going back to identity markers, Black Americans put Black first and foremost, and then everything else goes below it. And so they're thinking when another Black people come to our country, they're going to want to integrate with us, the other Black people, because Black comes first. And they get quickly disappointed in realizing that for Africans, Black and the identity and that coming is not first. Their immigrant identity comes first, and then their country. And if anything, for us as Africans to feel like that's my brother, that's my brethren, or whatever, you have to come from the same tribe as us, because we have so many Black people around, we don't automatically pre-select for Black. But Black Americans don't have so many Black people around, have had to defend and protect their culture amidst a dominant white culture, and so they already pre-select and are overprotective for Black. And so that's why I think at the core of it, there's a deep misunderstanding because of not realizing that we put where we put our identity markers and what we put first and what we prioritize are so different culturally because of our differences in trauma, realistically. And so it does make sense that Black Americans will be like, oh, my people, my brethrens, come here. And African Americans, or Africans, coming to the United States are like, I'm just trying to make it here. It's a lot of work to immigrate to the United States. And so y'all can stay over there, and I can see why it's hurtful, and I can see why it's taken personally, and I can see the deep misunderstanding and the betrayal that African Americans feel. But it's unfortunate, and that's just a reality. But if we can talk about it from this perspective, I think we can get to a better understanding. But I also believe that Africans that spend enough time in the United States get to this compassion and understanding of the Black American community, because it is a very unique and specific set of circumstances for a culture to grow and to develop.
Things that nobody told you as a new African immigrant. Look, there are just some things nobody talks about, but if you come here, you'll be shocked, okay? Number one is this: making friends in America is very hard. It's hard, okay? I don't care what anybody says. It's hard, okay? Listen, this is not Africa where you can just walk around, your neighbors will greet you, your coworkers will greet you. No, you can go 1 week here, nobody will say anything to you, okay? So you have to be intentional about talking to people, meeting new people, trying your best to connect with people. You have to put in effort, okay? Number two is, if you hate where you are staying right now, all of the different cities and states in America are very different. The vibe is different, okay? So if you hate where you are, get a cheap bus ticket, literally $50, $70. Go to the next city, go to the next state, and just go explore. You might like it better, okay? I hope this helps. Good luck.
Do I want to disagree with you? I get where you're coming from. When I see Black people talking about racism, all that stuff, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? You guys have food, you have EBT, all this thing, and you're here shouting about somebody is racist too. Just leave that person and move on. I feel that way. Like, why are they always like complaining? But when Black Lives Matters started happening, like, I sat down, I said, I need to actually know why these people are pained. And if we look at the history, what they've done to them, like if you actually sit down, watch some documentaries, how they were maltreated, I don't think if I'm actually born, I will forgive those people. I don't care. It's easier for us Africans that were raised in Africa to feel like they're complaining, because we were raised through struggle. Like, I barely even have water, and you have water, you're complaining. But then it's not about the basic necessity or about how we are raised. We are raised like, I don't want to say way better. We might not have resources, but there are some way, like our own people will not look down on us or put us behind. So it's in their nurture that way. Like, they just can't overlook it. And if you sit down and watch everything that the forefathers have been through for you, I changed my mind. No, they need to be angry. However, they should still move forward.
I feel like a lot of Africans don't understand the African American experience. I never knew until I came here and started learning the history of what happened here. Like, all the way from the end of slavery, Jim Crow laws, redlining, the civil rights movement, the pipeline from the school to prison pipeline.
The prison industrial complex.
Yeah, like all of this stuff. I don't think Africans have an idea of all these things that are put against African Americans to become successful. Like, even the Africans that are brought here, we're brought and we're put into like nicer neighborhoods. They don't put us in Southside Chicago in like the worst neighborhoods where you literally have to get a gun to survive, where you have to, like, you're fighting for your life. They put us in nice neighborhoods. And then
talk about the churches, how they will indoctrinate you.
How white people are nicer to Africans than African Americans.
Like, the charity that is given to Africans through these, religious organizations and just like philanthropy. It's like, we got to help these people in Africa. And that's a whole other conversation in itself. That white savior complex in itself. Yeah. But we receive like a sympathetic lens on
So acknowledge the fact that happens over here in the United States, but then you have the mirror on the other side. If you're African American and you go to these other countries, especially these Muslim countries, these European countries, if you have that American visa, it's different.
Yeah.
Compared to if you're just Sudanese going to this place.
Absolutely.
You're not having the same experience.
The visa, the American visa hits different.
When I first arrived in the US, I remember an African American family lived right across from me. I saw the dad walking out to his car once, and I asked my dad, like, oh, is he Ethiopian? And my dad was like, no. And I remember being so confused because as an adoptee, I had no prior education on slavery, the Holocaust, Jim Crow, any of that. So I didn't understand how there were other Black people here that were like not Ethiopian or adopted. I can't really explain like the thought process, but the movies I had seen when I was back in Ethiopia, all that were white people. So I didn't realize I would be seeing Black people when I came to the US. And so that was really confusing to me. And the way I got myself educated on it was through books. I could not put a book down to save my life. I fell so in love with books and reading. And the experience that I most enjoyed learning about was the African American girls, because I think arriving in the States, living with a white family, I had a really hard time finding people around me who I could relate to, because there was no Ethiopian population. So African American women and girls it felt like the safest people that I could relate to, open up to, any of that. Like, they just seemed like the closest to me and my experiences. And so I wanted to learn more about how they got there. I guess that sounds crazy, guys. That sounds insane. But I genuinely just didn't know. The Watsons go to Birmingham. This one is it's very heavy. And I think it's a story that most people know, but again, I had no idea of it, and it wasn't going to be something I learned in school. So this one is a family that goes down south because I think the son was like acting up or something, and they wanted to take him to the grandmother who was gonna, set him straight. But then it also covers the tragedy of the 16th Baptist church bombing. Yeah, I can't even talk about that one. Okay, The Skin I'm In. I picked this up in 6th grade at like a book fair or something. A young Black girl who is sharing her experiences of, she lives with her mom. I think she's in middle school, and it's just her, she gets bullied a lot at school because she has a darker complexion. So there's like that hardship aspect, but then also she covers like this crush that she has, and she loves writing, and she would write her poems, and it would just be like her thoughts as she's walking home from school, and very simple things, but ones that like opened my mind up to their experience. Yeah. Christopher Paul Curtis, and 2 of the books that I have here are by him. Bud Not Buddy and The Mighty Miss Malone. The Mighty Miss Malone was set during the Great Depression, and I loved this book because this is a girl who's going through so many hardships, but the hope that she had, like her ability to have hope despite what was going on, was just like so incredible to me. And she had a very special relationship with her English teacher, and I loved their relationship. It was like one person in her life that was there for her, continually supported her, and I just thought I loved getting an insight into the way she thought, the way she felt during this time, and like just learning about her experiences. But Nobody's also set during the Great Depression. It's about a young boy who is basically on the run, and all he has is this suitcase. And again, like everything that was in these books was new to me. Everything about it, the culture, the experiences of African American kids specifically. And I think what stuck out to me was their resilience, especially as someone who came from, like, I had just experienced a lot of trauma, and seeing people who were also going through something difficult but were able to maintain hope and were so resilient was like really inspiring to me. And I think it gave me hope for me and my story as like different, even though we were experiencing very different hardships and traumas. The next one is a series. The first one in it is One Crazy Summer. This one's by Rita Williams Garcia, another one of my favorite authors that taught me a lot. And I love the illustrations on this book as well. It's one of my favorite parts. But this is about 3 sisters, and I think that resonated with me as well because my biological family was 3 siblings, me, my older sister, younger sister, and they live with their grandmother, but they go to visit their mom, and it's just them navigating like their relationship with their mom. One scene that I remember sticking out to me was the older sister is going to homecoming, and she gets her hair silk pressed, and while she's going to the dance, like she's really worried about it reverting back. And I remember like that one simple experience, I remember just feeling seen by it, because again, I was living with a white family and I would get my hair silk pressed, but there were certain things I would do to maintain it, or certain things I would do to ensure that it doesn't revert back, that I knew they couldn't understand. I don't know how to explain it, and I just felt seen by it. I felt so seen by it. And then as I got older, I loved Maya Angelou and James Baldwin. Previous books that I shared were like middle school and under, I think is when I read them. And then this, I would say more in high school, I fell in love with these other authors. The first one I read of James Baldwin was Giovanni's Room. incredible. You will cry. For Maya Angelou, it was I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And again, I think having like just freshly experienced so much trauma as an adoptee who came to the US, their resilience and ability to come out on the other side as whole people who are still loving and knew their purpose was so inspiring to me, because it gave me hope, like, okay, these incredible people were able to do it, you can do it as well. And again, why there was so much emphasis on young Black girls or young African American girls is because I could relate to that. I was like, okay, they were also young, they were experiencing these hardships at this age, and the experiences were completely different. Don't get me wrong, I couldn't relate to any of the things that they were experiencing, but just the fact that it was hard and traumatic was what I could relate to. Yeah, through these books, I just found African American women and girls to be the safest people for me to be around and open up to and share my experiences with, and that's still true to this day, and I think it forever will be. But I think as adoptees, it's very important to understand the differences and experience that we have to African American women, and acknowledging that as Black women we have some of the same experiences, but it's not the same at all. And I think educating ourselves on it is really important, especially if you're adopted at an older age like I was, because you're just kind of thrown into this new world with no education, as opposed to if you're 3 or younger, you're growing up in the environment, in the education system that teaches you some of this stuff, at least not all of it. So yeah, that is why I love books and how I learned about Jim Crow, civil rights movement, and slavery. That's so sad.
Anyways, welcome. I want to first of all say a very big thank you to every single one of you sending me super thanks. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you joining my membership. I was amazed that I got 4 good members and I'm so excited. Thank you so much. It means a whole lot to me. And yeah, let's dive right into this video, right? So anyways, one thing I'm realizing is immigrants not seeing the fact that Black Americans are the only people that are standing up for them. Immigrants announcing the fact that no matter how they try to idolize these white people, no matter how they try to have this proximity to whiteness, no matter how they try to make it look as if whiteness is the only thing they can rely on, it is literally not working. It is not working, because at the end of the day, white folks will always prove to them that you are not us. You are not us. You don't even look like us. You don't even, if you check from this clip where a particular woman said that she was literally thinking a lot of bad things about Black Americans until she now have to face one-on-one encounter with racism, and then she now realized that a lot of Black Americans have been able to endure a whole lot that a lot of countries can never endure, that a lot of people can literally not just endure it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that is why I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it to my African immigrants that are actually watching this video. Before you go to a particular country, first of all, root out the history, because one thing now is a lot of awareness is being created about the the FBA history, which is the Black American histories. And a lot of people are now realizing, they are not knowing that this is actually what Black Americans have literally gone through. And they're now also realizing that Black Americans are the people that actually built the country. So since they're the people that actually built this country, what do you expect? Do you expect that they just sit down, fold their arms, and watch every single thing being taken away from them? No. And now they are now respecting Black Americans. And if you're still watching this as an immigrant in America, you've not realized, we've not come to that realization of Black American people are the only people that can actually come true for you. And Black American people are the only sweetest soul. You are giving yourself a huge mistake. I'll keep saying it. I have an adopted Black American mother and dad that actually adopted me all the way from US, and I live in Nigeria, right? But I know what they've been able, not because of what they've literally done for me alone. That's why I'm saying this. I'm saying this because I've seen their kindness, their goodness, not only in my life, even in other people's life. And that is the kind of people that Black Americans are. But one thing I want to tell my Black Americans is, before you want to do anything, or you want to help, or you want to do anything for any African immigrants or any immigrant at all, first of all, try yourself, calm down and look out for the histories of these people. Because some persons might just come in sheep in wolf clothing, or wolf in sheep clothing, wolf in sheep clothing. And with the stage that you people have gone through to now, I do not expect anybody to come look down on you people, rip, and just disappear. And which is bringing me to every single thing that has literally been happening, which is awareness. Because I see a lot of people in my comment section saying, you have a lot of problems in your country, go face the problems in your country. Why are you talking about Black Americans? Why are you talking about America? Leave our country alone for us. I see a lot of people saying that in my comment section. Now, let me educate those people saying that with love. I don't do this content because I'm doing it or because of the benefit I'm getting. I'm doing this content for awareness. I'm doing this content because I have read a lot, I've learned a lot about Black American histories. And I find out that a lot of people don't even know. So as an African, I am doing this because I want to stand in gap for the world, even if it's just 1%, to know what Black Americans have literally been through. To know what Black Americans are passing through. My country, Nigeria to be precise, I've literally not been through segregation. I've literally not been through Jim Crow, slavery. My father was not sold. My forefather was not sold. So there's a lot of things attached that I want the world to know about Black Americans. And that is why I will not stop anytime soon. So if you feel like maybe my content is really upsetting to you, because I see a lot of them throwing me insults left, right, back, and center, please, you can just shift to the next level. Because I even find out that most of those people throwing me insults are not even subscribed to the channel. But anyways, that's by the way. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you supporting, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, sending super thanks, joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. Thank you so much for staying stick and hook me to the end of this video. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. Just let me know your honest thoughts in the comment section. Bye for now. I love you guys.